2008,
Okay,
you
hold
refused
on.
visitation.
My name's DelusionDispeller. I've been a life coach since 2009, and I am doing a reaction video on the October 25th Dr. Phil show about this lady who is definitely showing signs of narcissism. And I'm going to continue my comments. I'm sorry about the last video. It got cut short because my battery died. So let's continue.
Why?
Okay, she refused visitation rights.
You don't know.
He's saying.
Now, when you go for visitation, where are you coming from?
Typically wherever I was stationed at the time. So
you're driving to get here?
That was California. So that one I had to take a flight.
You had to take a flight.
Yes.
So you flew from California to where?
New York.
So you flew across the country to have a scheduled visitation.
Right. Yes, sir.
And you got there and she said no.
No, that's correct. Yeah, she said no.
Okay. So then on the 8th, you have to go to court again, and the judge orders the visitation.
And if you look at the dates, that's January 1st when I was supposed to exercise my visitation, and January 8th when I actually got to. So I flew out and was in New York for 7 days before I was able to exercise visitation, the visitation that was court ordered.
Supervised.
I'm sorry?
It was supervised because of his behavior.
It was supervised, and it says it in the court order. It was supervised because at the time, the judge was unaware of the medical records as they were typed up, as Dr. Phil had told us, and that it was you that had ordered or had tried to get the MRI, and that our daughter was constipated and was the whole reason we had to go to the hospital in the first place. She was in your care. She doesn't get constipated in a single day.
No, she was not in my care. You had her all day. All night.
She got constipated in a single day.
In your care.
To be clear, you're right. This was supervised until the judge got the medical records and then apologized to you.
Yes, sir.
For imposing the supervising restriction once the medical records were in the court's possession.
That's correct.
Now, okay, August.
Okay. I smell a rat, do you? She keeps throwing up how this guy is neglectful and he didn't feed her daughter and he didn't take care of her. But you keep hearing how Dr. Phil is saying, yeah, well, this is what you said, but this is the truth. That is narcissism at its finest, or not so fine, because narcissism isn't fine. But this woman's lies are refuted throughout this whole entire episode. And no, I don't believe Dr. Phil is just twisting things around and taking bits and pieces and filming what he wants you to see. This lady rubs me the wrong way from the get-go.
12th, 2009, Danielle, you refused to allow the child to attend Brandon's wedding. Why?
Now, why is she looking so confused? Is that like a really hard question for her to figure out? Every time Dr. Phil asks her a question, look at the look on her face like, oh, gee, I don't know, I don't remember. It's not that confusing. It's not rocket science, lady.
Maybe a month and a half before that, Brandon had given me a carat and a half bracelet. He's a womanizer. The way he treats women is a joke. I was surprised.
What does that have to do with him having his daughter in his wedding?
Exactly.
This was a long time ago, and I guess at the time I had felt that it was a lie.
What was a lie?
That he was trying to be with someone else at the time. Of course, this is ancient history, and it's not that way anymore.
Okay. October 1st, the night before the wedding, you say the child is being abused, and the police interview the bridesmaids and guests. Is this like at the rehearsal dinner or something? This is the night before the wedding?
This was at our apartment before the rehearsal dinner.
Well, do you have documentation stating this?
Yes.
2009, so I don't know.
This is really sad. This woman is truly delusional and believes her own lies, apparently.
Can't
Yes,
speak for
we
the
do.
person that I was back then. I don't know.
Yes, we do. We have the actual report of the interviews and the judge's order where they cite this. So yes, we have 2 sets of documents about this. So you called the sheriff the night before the wedding.
I don't remember what did they say I did that. I don't know.
Wow.
What?
What was the reason?
That the child was being abused. You called and reported abuse the night before the wedding.
In what way?
Oh my Lord.
Did it
You
say?
made the call.
For what?
Who
I
knows?
don't
But it
know.
wasn't founded. They came and they checked it out, and they talked to bridesmaids and my best friends and interviewed them, and nothing was found, like always.
Because there is no abuse.
Right, that's why she
It was-
went into principals crying. My daddy and stepmother are hitting me with a wrist, and you had to go to family counseling.
We did
Right.
not.
We did
not.
not.
Oh, no.
Okay. Hold up, because we're coming to an advertisement. Okay. Oh, this stupid computer, sorry. Stay. Okay. Okay, I don't usually say this, but OMG. For real? Everything they confronted this lady with, she's like, I don't know. What did I do that for? Well, how the heck do we know why you did it for? Well, now we do, because she's probably a narcissist, and that's how they act. And I've seen this firsthand, not just on this show. But the narcissists I've dealt with act stupid like that too all the time. Like they have no clue what the heck's going on. When they're the one that made the call, they're the one that lived through it. Of course they know what they did. But they act all dumb and innocent and, oh, gee, I don't know. I'm not sure. Why did I do that? All right, keep watching. I'm going to try to forward past this commercial. Skip the ad.
We were not
Any reason at all whatsoever.
an investigation.
The CPS did do investigations. They just found no wrongdoing.
Well,
You're right. They did do an investigation because when you call, they do investigate as well they should, but they found no cause.
I was told that they had to go to family counseling, and my daughter told me that she got hit constantly with a stick on her wrist.
Well,
That has never happened.
she didn't
Never.
say that to CPS.
That's what she had told me, and that's what the school told me.
Okay, 2 days later, you call the police to meet the child at the airport, stating that the child sounded dehydrated on the phone.
She sounded very sick, yes.
Tell me how you sound dehydrated.
Wow. Okay, hold on.
I was
hold
there.
on.
He would not give me my...
Alright, hold up. I gotta forward through all this stuff here. Yeah, how do you sound dehydrated? I don't know. She kind of sounds dehydrated, if anybody does. Okay. Trying to get past all these previews and whatever. Okay, here we go.
The child sounded dehydrated on the phone. Tell me how you sound dehydrated.
She was barely speaking. My daughter was talking like this, and she was barely speaking.
Like her mother.
Because she had been at the wedding all night, and she barely could get out her words.
Can I just say our wedding was over by like 9 o'clock? It wasn't even a late night.
For us, yeah.
So the police show up to meet the flight. But didn't you later admit that it wasn't because she sounded dehydrated, it was because you didn't get a call the night before?
No. I was there at the airport, and I just had mentioned to them, can I please have assistance, because I've gotten many problems with him not giving my daughter. He has done this to me too, many times. And we I was there.
You lived
He
in
would not give me my daughter. I'm speaking. He would not give me my daughter. He would not give her back to me. And she sounded like she could barely speak on the phone. I was concerned. And the woman there said, oh, yeah, she could get a rupture in her intestine. And she was scaring me.
Who said this?
The woman in the airport. She was...
What woman in the airport?
It was a security guard or something. They were scaring me. So she goes, oh, I'm going to call the EMTs and make sure she's okay.
Okay, hold up. I gotta say this. When I was married to my first ex-husband, he was my husband at the time, the one thing he always did, and still does to this day, is quote what other people say. So-and-so told me, or I heard on the news, or I read in a book. They don't have any thoughts of their own. It's always what everybody else told them. And that is also very common with narcissists. They don't like admitting responsibility for any of their choices. It's always, I heard it, somebody told me to do this, whatever. Very common narcissistic trait. Continue.
You weren't even there, right? You were
I
on your
was
honeymoon.
not there. We were together in Colorado still.
And a family member was
Yes, my
was
parents.
accompanying the child.
Yeah.
She would refuse to give me my daughter.
So when they got off the plane,
Well, you said you had the police come because you knew he wouldn't give you your daughter. He was in Colorado.
Well, the grandmother wouldn't give me my daughter.
Okay, well, the child was fine. You did admit that you called the police because you got no call the night before.
our wedding night, that we didn't have the flower girl call you.
Yeah. Okay, we jump ahead now a couple of months.
15 minutes of fame.
And
Doesn't
you
change for
petition
you.
now to restrict his contact. Then in February, you violate the custody agreement. You're held in contempt of court, and you're given 6 months in jail.
Good.
It's so egregious, you're given 6 months in jail, and they suspend that sentence. You recall this?
No.
You don't recall being held in contempt of court
Wow.
and
That's
given a
just-
suspended jail sentence?
They never gave that to me. They never said I was to go to jail. They never said
It
that.
was suspended.
Here's what the judge's order said. By proof beyond any reasonable doubt, the respondent willfully violated said order. It is therefore ordered that the above-named respondent, you, hereby is committed to the Suffolk County Correctional Facility for a term of 6 months with execution of sentence suspended for a period of 1 year pending compliance with this order.
With his mother. Because she also had gotten unheard of visitation every other weekend.
You weren't aware of it, but you did appeal it.
The
Right.
seriousness of it, I was not aware of that
Come
jail
on.
term. They never said anything.
You appealed it,
Well, that was 2010,
and
so
the
I
appeal
guess.
was denied.
Okay. Well, I appealed.
How can you not be aware of it and appeal it?
Wait a second. I don't remember appealing this.
You were on your 6th lawyer.
Every time he came to town, I had to make sure I had representation, and
Well-
that judge was very derogatory towards me.
Oh, wow.
We
Play
now
the
go
victim.
ahead 6 weeks,
It's the judge's fault.
and you called poison
Unreal.
control after Brandon gave your child a sports drink.
Oh, my God.
He had
Like
given
Gatorade?
her Powerade. It wasn't just Gatorade, it was Powerade. And I called the pediatrician, and the pediatrician said, well, she could get excessive diarrhea. She can get very sick from that. You should call poison control, giving a little bit
Here
of
we go
Powerade
with this person
excessive
told
amounts
me, that
of
person
vitamin B
told me.
and
Unreal.
other things that are not meant for children.
Okay, but
I believe a Powerade is
poison
safe for a
control-
4-year-old.
poison control said you were safe. You were okay.
They said she could get excessive amounts of diarrhea and she can get sick from it and she could die. That is what they told me.
Also in April, you called CPS because you said you observed the child's feet were swollen on webcam.
We had taken her to a specialist because she had severe allergies. He'd prescribed Claritin, and he had told me, absolutely not, I'm not giving her the Claritin. He refused to give her her medication.
Danielle was never able
So you
to
called CPS to report that.
And she was never able to
She was
produce
very
that.
swelled up. Yes, I did. I'm sure I did. You can get anaphylactic shock if you swell up too much and you have a bad allergy.
My Lord.
Okay,
My
well,
daughter-
let's take a break here. Next, Danielle says not only has Brandon threatened to kill her 2 times, I want to ask you about that, but now he's vandalizing her property. Brandon?
Okay, hold up. I'm going to film this in segments, like I said. Some will be longer than others, because I'm not sure how to piece it all together in one big, long video. Wow. I'm almost speechless, because this woman is so beyond delusional and annoying. Her voice just does something to me. She's worse than the Anita situation that I told you about, except I didn't have to live with this woman for 5 weeks. Yeah, bad. Wow. I'm really at a loss for words. Now, what I wanted to say was, in the beginning of this, I was watching it on a different video that somebody put on. It talks about the fact that this woman wants to be a famous Christian singer. She can't carry a tune in a bushel basket, trust me. If I get to that part, I'll play it for you. She wants to be famous because her family is famous. She comes from a long-running line of famous people. So therefore she should be famous because she has famous people in her family. That's called name dropping. That's a narcissistic trait. The fact that she wants to be a famous Christian singer and can't sing, that's called grandiose thinking, because she wants to be something famous and she has no talent to go with it. Another narcissistic trait. All the lying, pathological lying, is a narcissistic trait. At some point in the video, the boyfriend says, well, all these things you hear her accusing me of, the truth is it's really her. That's called projection. That's also another narcissistic trait. So far, I think I've listed like 4 maybe of the DSM-4 narcissistic traits. So she's pretty much a closed case of a narcissist, a specific case of a narcissist is what I'm trying to say. The paranoia is another thing. You can hear that. That's very evident in this. Anyway, I'll do my next information and reaction on the next video. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.